do i mu dojdy. Deco o. Schießerlob mit Guru. Und gleichzeitig Schilose. Hätte den Morgen, mit dem Morgen nicht weggehen. Aber morgen ist schon gut, ist wie wohl.
What's the matter? What's the matter?
Nothing.
So be quiet.
No, ha, ha, ha. What's the ha, 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 Andre? Ha, ha, ha.
This is a total care institution for the elderly. It is considered among the best that we have to offer in North America. It has a waiting list of over 300 people, many desperate to get in. They come here because they have no other choice.
Dr. Moyer, 73. Dr. Moyer, 73. Dr. Heuser, 89. Dr. Heuser, 89.
Well, an institution is an institution. The people have to live by rules, regulations. The place has a certain appearance. No matter what you do, it doesn't look like home. They have to eat, sleep, bathe, literally breathe almost, according to the rules. It's a crushing experience for most people. I feel that the institution should be the last resort for the vast majority of people. Most people want to live at home and should be allowed to live out their lives in relatively normal surroundings. Unfortunately, we don't have any setups to speak of in North America. Very few. For people who would want to live at home and could if they had a little help in a material way. I certainly would not want to see my parents here if there was an alternative type of solution, should they need help as they get older.
What we have seen is the best that we in North America have to offer in terms of institutional care. But even the worst such facilities can have long waiting lists. Why do old people choose to go into an institution? Problems with shopping and transportation, crushing financial difficulties and poor health, all combine with an inadequate housing situation to drive old people towards an institutional solution to their problems. For a great number of the elderly, we offer no alternatives. There are almost no services for those who wish to remain independent and in their own homes. For many old people, everyday life is a desperate struggle.
society, the older people themselves, they have been conditioned to this, certainly in North America, because we haven't caught up with it yet, that they say, well, I guess my choice is either try and stay in my own home, and if I can't do that, if I can't get out to shopping, and if I can't get to the clinic, and I haven't got the money, and the slum landlord isn't keeping my apartment up the way he should, and nobody cares whether I'm here or not, so I guess the best thing for me to do is pack it in and go into the home for the aged. We say, are they really asking for placement in a home? If you gave them an offer, if you offered to them alternatives and said, okay, do you want the home? Or if we offered you this, 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 and this, would you want to stay where you are? Oh, yeah, sure. But I know that doesn't exist. I know that's impossible. That's the impossible dream. You say, no, it's not impossible. It is happening, and it is happening today, right here now. Like the community worker.
These services are not supported, these in-home services, to the extent they should be, you know. If they were, people would be much better off. And the housing is a thing that's lacking too. It's practically non-existent.
They're not getting enough money, and the rents keep going up. And then if you have the experience I had the other day, where I spoke to a landlord in the area and explained to him that I had a gentleman who had been in that building. His father had died there, his mother had died there, he wanted to die there. And the landlord was more understanding than most. Most landlords would not have even listened to me. This man did. He took it all into account, but he still had to raise the rent $10. And that $10 to that gentleman means food money. So I sat there, I spoke to him. The alternative to that is an institution. I have been to one institution in this city, and I wouldn't send my worst enemy to an institution from what I saw. I walked in and I became so irate, I went to the director of personnel, and I said in particular 2 women were not being treated properly, and I wanted to know if she could do something. The staff refused to come and help one woman into her bed because she said she was a problem and she could not be bothered. I went to another staff member. She was on a coffee break. The taxpayers are paying for this, and these people are suffering. I mean, all one woman kept screaming to me was, I want to get out of here. Can you please get me out of here? And I stood there and I was helpless.
The fear of loneliness, I think, is the most acute with the elderly. They're not afraid of being hungry. They're not afraid of running out of money. But they're afraid of being lonely. Because if you can't take it sitting in a room 24 hours a day, who else can? You must always stop and think, you know, what would I do in this situation?
Some people never get out from January to March. Never. And that is why the vital lifeline is the volunteer often, and of course the VON. But the volunteer is such a vital person. The old friend just embrace you when you arrive.
And you have to be
wonderful.
there. And the thing that's so terrible is because of the fact that we are getting no funding at the present time. The government is not aware of this alternative to the aged. What do we do with these old people when the volunteers have to go out and get another job, or they have to go back to school, or they have to pursue their course of life? These old people sit there and they wait, and they wait, and they wait.
Old people are very lucky in Denmark. It's a country with a long tradition of both private and public care for the aged. In North America, we have a lot to learn from Denmark, not because of the architecture of some buildings or a method of treating a particular illness, but because of an overall policy of planning and common sense in the care for the aged. The elderly in Denmark have many alternatives to the institution. The first priority is to keep people in their own homes for as long as possible. They are encouraged by a wealth of coordinated programs, including home helpers and rent subsidies when needed. Old people are not set apart from the rest of society. And even when institutions are built, they are curiously uninstitutional.
We are now in Bystævneparken, an area consisting of nursing homes and sheltered flats. In total, 382 sheltered flats and 381 nursing flats. With sheltered flats, we mean flats for people who need a lot of care, and nursing homes patients are those who are in need of total care.
Margaret Smith of the city of Copenhagen, showing us around a newly completed center for old people.
The low buildings you see there around are the nursing homes. They are built in connection with the sheltered flats. And between those two buildings, you will find the dining rooms, the different service, for example, the occupational therapy, the chiropodist's room, the dresser's salon, and so on. In the dining room, where the residents from the sheltered flats can come down to take their meals, they will meet the patients from the nursing homes. In that way, we hope there will be a connection to break that loneliness when you are old and you have lost your relatives.
Often people in North America end up in nursing homes with total care, simply because they need care some of the time. In this particular complex, we find a range of possibilities, from sheltered flats to total care nursing homes. The sheltered flat is an ordinary apartment where people can live their lives as independently as they wish. But as part of the center, they are in close proximity to all the medical and social facilities of the institution. The important consideration is choice. This grocery store is part of the facility, and the residents from the sheltered flats can either make their own meals at home or make use of the common dining room. A daycare center is located right on the premises, to the mutual delight of both age groups.
We have started an organization in 1954 it was, where we have got in some different groups, both from the government, we have got some assistance, but also specialists from all the varieties of private organization who can be interested in problems for old people.
Adam White, a Copenhagen lawyer, speaks for the private sector. On a condominium basis, his firm has built over 20 retirement homes for professional groups, ranging from bankers to dentists.
We have been building houses where all people should be able to live. The problem in Denmark was that there were so many groups here that have some special problems when they were old, because there were a lot of people who were dealing with houses problem for young people, for people with family and children. And there were nobody who were dealing with this special group of old people who were not very poor, but not very wealthy, but in the middle between.
Here is one such house built in a small town near Copenhagen. Although considerably more luxurious than housing in the public sector, the principles are the same. The housing includes sheltered flats, a common dining room, and a nursing home. The residents of these sheltered flats have their own kitchens and live completely normal lives. They can eat in this common dining room as seldom or as often as they wish. The nursing home gives people living here the security of knowing that they will never have to move, even if they become less able to manage on their own.
Good day, fru Hansen. Hvordan går det I dag?
This woman requires constant nursing care. She may become seriously ill and need more intensive care. Nevertheless, this is still her own home. She enjoys all the benefits of institutional care and yet remains in familiar surroundings, near her old friends and relatives, and part of the community around her.
The whole idea was that in this house we should build apartments where normal people should move in. There should be no distinction between our group of people and all other people. There's nothing special to be an old man or to be a widower. They are a part of the community and they should have the same opportunities. It's very important, I think, to maintain that people, they should have a lot of choices when they want to move into a new house. And therefore we find it essential in Denmark that there are a lot of varieties in the possibilities you give for people. So therefore, of course, our houses, they solve the problem for some people, but certainly they don't solve the problem for all the old people. You must choose your own way of living.
Here is yet another example of the ingenuity and sensitivity in Denmark's planning for the aged. Fru Paula Jakobsen lives in a small, subsidized apartment with other people of her age. Her block of flats, however, is surrounded with another type of housing, subsidized apartments for large families. Paula Jakobsen's window overlooks the playground, and she lives her life surrounded by kids. She may sometimes get annoyed with them, but she seldom gets bored.
Jo, jeg har jo en nabo på den ene side, og han har været lam med den ene side, så han kan jo ikke så godt.
I have a neighbor on one side who was paralyzed, and he couldn't do much on his own, so when he used to buy his bread, I would go in and cut it for him, and the same thing when he would get home his weekly sausages and so on, I'd cut it up. But now he has a lady to do that. And I have a lady myself too who comes in and cleans and does the shopping for me when I don't feel like it. There's also a lot of children around here. Not all of the children are equally polite, but you know, you get used to it all. They ring the bells and they throw in stuff in the hallways, but I like it. I've been here 3 years, ever since it got started. Next door on the other side there was a lady who was insane, but it was a bit rough for a while, but you know, now she's all right. And generally they're peaceful people because they're all elderly people here, except the ones upstairs. They both have epilepsy, but they're all right, really. You should be here when it's the summer because it's really, really lovely, and we all sit outside. And there are lots of flowers, and there's tables and chairs. And well, they got kindergartens and daycare centers and nursing homes, and then there's a little road behind, and you know, if you walk down that road you can get down to a small shopping center, so you really have everything that you need here. On the other side over there, there is also subsidized housing, but it's for lower income people. And there's lots of children there. And when you came, I was just throwing out some of the children because they were getting into the elevators all the time. And, well, you can't have that because, you know, they get stuck in the elevators. And, well, they did that once already. And then we had to go and get the plumbers and the janitors and everybody else to get them out. And, well, it's just very dangerous to do. You have to kick them out.
And what of the handicapped old? Must they lose their independence along with their ability to walk? This is an ordinary block of apartments in a suburb of Copenhagen. But one of these buildings, this one, is very special indeed. It's an apartment building designed for the handicapped. It is not a nursing home, not even a sheltered flat. Fru Jensen lives alone in this two-room apartment. At first sight, it looks like a fairly ordinary apartment, but on closer inspection, we see that it is crammed full of gadgets, special design features, and just plain good ideas, all to make life easier for someone in a wheelchair. The apartment has alarm cords in the kitchen, bathroom, and sleeping areas. If anything should happen to her, she can summon help immediately. The kitchen counter in all these apartments is of adjustable height. The entire surface, including the sink, can be moved up and down to the tenant's convenience. The bathroom is supplied with rails beside the toilet. And Fru Jensen can take a shower seated in this chair. The drain is in the floor. The initial cost of all these facilities is high. But the true expense of running any such organization is its staff. Electric beds and special elevators are expensive. Private apartments are expensive. But in North America, the staff alone in our total care nursing homes costs over $10,000 per year for each patient. This building is run by only 10 people. The annual cost is low. And the rewards in terms of pride and self-esteem cannot be measured. The key word is independence. Even the old, even the handicapped have a right to live the life they choose. It is time to start asking ourselves in North America, why are we spending so much money to put old people away, to isolate them from their own sense of responsibility and from their sense of community? What is needed is coordinated planning. What is needed is a variety of types of housing, ranging from low-cost ordinary apartments to sheltered flats to organizations giving total care. What is needed are support facilities so that old people are able to stay in their own homes. What is not needed are more and more costly institutions, institutions which serve the needs of no one. We must stop isolating old people from all those things that can make them want to go on living.